Do you know whether your student loan interest is correct? We're only days away from where student loan payments are going to be reinstated. They've been accruing interest again ever since September 1st of 2023. Make sure that the interest that has been accrued is properly taking those pauses into consideration. All of that interest should have been put on pause during those periods. Those tools that are online for student loan interest calculations, I haven't seen any that account for the pause in the student loan interest. I created a tool. I've made my spreadsheet tool so that it can account for those pauses in the student loan interest accruing. As of the end of 2022, the Federal Reserve states that there is 43.5 million outstanding student loans, totaling to $1.7 trillion. The average, which was close to $38,000 for every student loan. The U.S. Department of Education issues these loans to private companies who actually do the administration of those student loans. Both my kids are young adults and they both have student loans. In the case of my daughter, her service provider, they basically decided they weren't going to do it anymore, and they pretty much just folded and sent all of those loans in their accounts to a different service provider. I wanted to make sure that that was done accurately, because in this chaos where even the U.S. Department of Education, the Federal Reserve, and the Internal Revenue Service wasn't entirely certain how they were handling a lot of this, I think it's very important to make sure that that interest is correct. So I created a tool. I just wanted to make sure that those student loans are properly accruing the interest. I'm going to show you how my spreadsheets work here. Entering the date of which you'd like to calculate the accrued interest. Enter in how much was each student loan, the payout, when it was dispersed, and what its annual interest rate was. The spreadsheet is going to calculate what the daily rate is. It's also then going to account for when that dispersal date occurred, whether it was before the pause, after the pause, or during the pause, and try to make an accommodation for the 0% interest during that period of time. I really think it's important to make sure that the statements that you have are accurately accruing the interest from your student loans. So check out the link below. I've got two spreadsheets that I've created to help estimate the amount of interest, taking into account for the pause in the student loan interest. I would highly recommend making sure that you look at your statements, make sure that they did account for those pauses in the interest rate, to make sure you're not overpaying for interest. In the words of our former President Reagan, he was always saying, trust but verify, when it came to dealing with the Soviet Union and nuclear arms agreements. Stay on your toes. Make sure that what they're charging for accrued interest is right. I highly recommend take a look at my spreadsheets. I hope they're helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below. And as always, here at the Works RL channel, where we're making money by saving money, doing things ourselves and finding what works in real life. And frankly, there's nothing more important than making sure that all this student loan interest that is being accrued on our loans is exactly right. Take care.